Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. I want to start out today's video with a new discovery that was sent to me by a viewer who is doing some research on Google Earth. And for those of you who don't know, you can download this software where it doesn't just let you zoom down into any location on planet Earth and see buildings in 3 dimensions, but you can also visit the moon and Mars. Most of this is common knowledge by now. And so he sent me some coordinates and he said, Tyler, I think I found a mile-high tower or some sort of monolith on planet Mars. And so I got on Google Earth Pro, which you have to download, and I popped in the coordinates, and well, let's go ahead and zoom down in and see what we find. And so here we are. This is planet Mars, along with the entire planet completely put together via satellite imagery from over 45,000 images taken by the Viking satellites, along with other data that allows us to see Mars in 3 dimensions, as if we were down on the surface and you can actually see the hills rising up from the ground or the craters dipping down. The entire red planet has been scanned by satellites, not just from the US, but from the European Space Agency that has collected the entire topography of the red planet, which they have then embedded into Google Mars. So you're not just seeing a flat surface and flat satellite photos, you're actually seeing what the topography is that came from these satellites. And sure enough, when we zoom down to these coordinates, there is what appears to be a very large spike coming up out of the ground on the red planet. And so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to change the position of where the sun is. I'm going to change the time of day so we can get a better look at this. And as you see, as I cycle through the day and nighttime, we get the sunset and the sunrise, and I think that's a pretty good spot right here. And yeah, this is definitely a structure sticking up from the Martian surface, and you can see in the distance the many other hills and craters and backgrounds that have also been converted to 3 dimensions due to the very precise topography data that these satellites have taken of the planet. And this thing even has shadow depending on where the sun is in the sky in the software. So we're seeing the back side of it, and as we go around the side, we then see the front end of this object. And just to show you here, you can see all these other craters and how they are also rendered in 3 dimensions based on the satellite data of how deep they are and how tall they are and whatnot. So let's go back to this massive spike, and the first thing I notice is that it doesn't look like your typical glitch or stitching effect, because the bottom of this thing has structure. The whole thing has structure, but the bottom of it almost looks like the bottom of a massive tree trunk, where it has detail, it has shadows to it. It's not just a 3-dimensional spike made out of 3 lines. This thing curves. It has multiple branches coming off of the bottom of it, again, like a massive tree trunk. It's got shadow with the way the sun hits it. That wouldn't happen with a glitch. And just to give you an idea of how we can measure things on Google Earth or Google Mars, here's a crater, and let's just measure how far it is from one end of the crater rim to the other, which comes out to about 9,000 plus feet across. And you can see how the yellow line bends down in 3 dimensions with the crater as it measures it. So now let's go back to this very pointy tower looking object and let's measure it. And notice how the yellow line from the top point where I selected, it curves with the object as we go back to ground level. So it's curving with this pointed object, which comes to 5,400 some feet. And when we change that to miles, it is revealed that this mystery object is 1.04 miles tall. And that is just amazing. And I'm moving around here showing you the way this object looks with the sun at a certain position, the shadowing behind the object that's not being hit by the sunlight, the tree trunk-like base of this mile-high tower-like structure. And as I cycle through the day and night here over 24 hours, we can see the stars going by. Watch how this thing lights up and dims and darkens. And now we're at the base of the object, as if we were standing at the bottom of it looking up at a mile-tall tower. as the sun passes by overhead and goes into night. So this is a really, really cool finding, and not the first one. We found many of these on the moon, and I've reported on them years ago on the channel. Here's one of those towers here. And our moon is even more studied than the red planet. Our moon is completely mapped out, both in satellite imagery as well as the three-dimensional topography of the moon's surface. And we've discovered multiple towers on it, and we can go as far back as 1967, 1968, when the Russians launched the Zond 3 probe along with the Zond 5, which, once approaching the moon, captured what is known as the Tower of Babel, or Babel, however you want to pronounce it. It was on the lunar far side, the side of the moon we never see, and the photograph that was snapped back then in, wow, 1965, was snapped at just the right point as the moon turned and as the probe was flying with it, that on the horizon line, the probe captured this miles-tall tower, or whatever you want to call it. It was there. And since then, leading up to the Apollo missions in the late 60s through the 1970s, we've had other photographs taken of very large standing objects on the surface, like this image here of what they call the shard. And once enhanced, you can see the arrow pointing to the actual tower standing up tall, and then the second smaller red arrow pointing to the massive shadow being cast down on the surface by this tower or monolith on the moon. So is this new discovery on Mars like one on the moon, or like other findings on planet Mars? You guys tell me. I will put the coordinates down below. You can use Google Earth in the browser, or download Google Earth Pro for more features where you can find this yourself. So tell me what you guys think. Now, before we go any further, I want to give a special thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Private Internet Access, which is a VPN that allows you to access the internet and browse the web with your true IP address and location hidden from prying eyes. VPNs are widely used tools, especially in this day and age, and with Private Internet Access, which is available across all platforms from Apple to PC to Android, whether it be desktop, tablet, or phone, you simply download the app, log in, choose an international country from their list of servers, or another state, here if you're in the US. An example here, I'm logging in and I'm choosing to connect to a server in Texas, and once back online, you can now see that as far as anyone online knows, I'm now browsing the web from Texas, even though I'm here in Ohio. Private Internet Access is better than the other VPNs because they have a strict no logs policy of your online activity. With Private Internet Access, you can also connect to a different server when your own internet service provider throttles down your internet speed, which is great for gaming. There are countless uses for a VPN, which you can find online, and with over 30 million downloads worldwide, Private Internet Access is hands down the best VPN that gives you protection, privacy, and peace of mind. I use it myself, especially with the work I do, and if you want to try it and finally have peace of mind on the web by hiding your IP address and home location, then simply click the custom link down in the video description where you can download the app for 83% off the actual price, which comes out to $1.98 per month, and you'll also get the first 4 months free. So for just under $2 a month, you can protect your online location and identity and access a range of amazing features like watching one of your favorite shows on Netflix that may be blocked in your own country, but with Private Internet Access and the click of a button, you connect to a different part of the world and are now able to stream the content that you weren't able to do before. So try Private Internet Access today with the special link down below and get a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can't beat that. Keep intruders from intercepting your information, as well as staying truly anonymous while browsing the web. So protect yourself today. Okay, so the footage you guys just saw came out of Crimea, and it's a very short video, but as you notice, and as the viewer who posted it said, he had noticed this very bright light in the sky in front of him as he was driving down this very snowy road. He had noticed it there for almost an hour, But the moment that he turned on his video camera to record it while he was in the car, the bright, almost sun-like object quickly begins to almost retreat backwards into the air, dimming itself moment to moment until it completely vanishes, and then the video ends. So basically, the viewer who said this, he said the moment he started recording, it was almost as if the object or UFO knew, and then boom, it was gone. Which is actually a very common thread that I've seen in this research I've done on the channel for almost 10 years now. I've done countless videos where people will start to record a UFO and the UFO will either disappear immediately, or some would say the UFO would zap their camera to where the footage would be ruined, or the camera would suddenly lose power and shut off despite the fact that it was at a full battery. And so that's what the viewer is saying here, out of Crimea, which is near Russia. And yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this footage, so tell me what you think. Did you see this? Put your comments down below. Now, next I want to show you a video that was recently captured in Texas of yet another formation of lights, in which we have multiple lights, but also a formation that forms a triangle. So check this out.
It's 20. What's going on?
Alright, so if you've been watching my past few videos, we're seeing these lights more and more. We've been seeing a lot of them lately, and this is just one more to add to it. And lastly today, here is a video of what was described as almost a worm-like UFO seen in the skies above Bakersfield, California, doing all sorts of real crazy twisting and maneuvering, and well, check this out.
I don't... What is that thing? Yeah.
So this video is actually reposted by the channel Ledrack VFX, who applied motion tracking to the video to stabilize it, and that's what you're seeing here. So we can keep the object right in the center. It's now totally stabilized, and so we don't see any sort of camera shake, and we can just focus on this weird object high up in the skies over Bakersfield, California, that seems to be, I don't know, morphing, moving in and out, making strange shapes. Is this a balloon? I don't know. I've never seen a balloon like this that seems to sort of morph in the way it does, but who knows? I definitely thought it was interesting. For sure not the typical type of UFO we see here on the channel. So give me your thoughts down below, and thanks to Ledrack VFX for stabilizing this. I really appreciate you guys stopping by today. Tell me what you think. We've shown a lot today in this video, and there will be much more to come. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Hope all is well. Stay tuned, stay safe, and I'll see you guys back in just a bit.